Yeah, so this is the first BINC.
Okay, so is it true that everybody accepts that you're the most important Chris at Aptera Motors?
Except Chris Anthony, I think everyone would agree with that. There's
Oh, right,
still.
him. I remember.
Oh,
I remember
there
him.
is another
Yeah.
Chris. You're just
Okay.
our favorite.
Oh,
Chris. No
thanks.
offense to the other guy there, but thanks for being here. We
Yeah, we're
appreciate you
not
taking
sure
the
if
time.
Chris Anthony even has cats.
Does he have cats?
I don't
You
know. I
don't
don't
have
think
to
he
answer
has
that
cats.
question.
I don't think he
Yeah,
does.
probably not our kind of guy then, but so you have been traveling the world, Chris. We want to hear about what happened when you went to the show in France, what you learned, and what kind of response you got. We want to know what happened when you and Audra went to CPC, because that's like a vault. Nobody sees inside that place. I mean, that's like
Yeah,
secret.
it
And then we
is.
want to know about what's coming up here with the situation where you're going. Some of you from your team are going overseas again, and whatever else might come up, like something exciting that might have got shipped to your factory recently. So that's
Cool.
all fair game, right?
Fair game.
Good,
Ask
because
away.
we're already recording, so that's good.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's
Yeah.
go to
We're
France.
rolling.
Take us through what happened in France when you went and showed off the Bink and what the response was like.
Yeah, wait, let me ask you this. Did you learn enough French to say you're watching Drive the Lightning in French?
No
We,
way.
Can you just
I
say in
wish.
English, you're watching Drive the Lightning in French?
yeah.
You're watching Drive the Lightning in French.
Oh, that's the dumbest thing that ever happens to me. I
Bonjour.
hope. I hope. Yeah.
Bonjour.
So what happened in France? Give us we saw the
Yeah.
video you made, but we want to know what the feel was like too.
I mean, honestly, it was kind of shocking how big this convention was. We're in our little Aptera world where we're like, oh, composites are super cool, but the world doesn't really know about composites. That's like how it feels internally. You go to this show and it's like multiple square miles, it feels like, of just
Wow.
composite company, like boat, plane,
Did you see,
prototype. So
were there
it's
other
pretty.
EVs? Were there other EVs that you saw that were
There were a lot of concept vehicles, but
okay?
it was kind of cool to be showing off production parts at a show where a lot of people were showing off concept parts. So it
Oh,
was it was kind of a Uno reverse to what Aptera's usually been doing in the past. So it was pretty neat.
yeah. So now you're out front of the technology, and these other people are chasing you, kind of, huh?
Yeah, I mean, you know, we probably gave out easily over 1,000 stickers. We just had stickers. Me and Odd are talking to people, the people from Energy.
Yeah.
They're just so nice, which is it's so cool to meet them. Like they're just people that Audra and I had never even really known about. Like we didn't even know there was a different company that made the tools necessarily. Like it didn't matter. It
Oh,
was all
wow.
part of the world. But now we're kind of deep in the supply chain world. We met the people who forged the steel that
Yeah. Right.
then was given to Energy, that then was given to
Wow.
CPC to make the parts. So it's like there's so many stages to this whole vehicle that it's remarkable. But yeah, there was thousands of people come up to it. A lot of people came up and said this is the coolest thing they'd seen at the show, which was really exciting because I can't even describe how big this convention was. I've never even seen anything remotely close to how big this was. It took up multiple exhibition halls in the Paris um, exhibition place. So I mean, it was like ridiculous. But
Wow.
Wow.
yeah, it was just really neat. Like a lot of industry people too. I had people from different car companies were coming and they're like, "Huh, this is interesting. I like this is really happening, huh? Like I can't believe it. These are production parts." I'm like, "Yeah."
It's interesting you say that because every show Aptera goes to, you're the coolest thing there. We all remember Fully Charged a couple years ago.
Yep.
That
There's
was
this
wild.
big crowd around you the entire time,
Yeah.
and for 2 days. And
Yeah.
then it's not that everything was cool there, but there was nothing quite like Aptera. And I'm sure it's
Yeah.
that way every show you go to, Chris.
It is, and this one was weird because I was like, oh, we don't have a vehicle. I doubt it's going to be that crazy. Totally wrong.
Huh?
Like even though it's just the Bing, people are that excited about, even the body structure of the vehicle. So it says a lot about what we're doing.
Yeah, it's
Yes, it does.
It's so nice for us having been, to your factory and seen it in person, rode in one of the prototypes. But a lot of people that have invested a lot of money, I don't think a lot of them have even seen it in person, the
It's
Aptera.
probably nobody.
So you've done a good job getting your message across so much that people are willing to invest in a product they've only seen online. It's
Yeah.
probably still relatively few of us that have had the privilege to be there in person and actually touch it and ride in it.
Right, exactly. And I think, you know, that's exciting for the future that people will be able to come see the BINC or drive in, you know, PI2 or Gamma or whatever it is. And I feel like it's just so much more real once you see it in person, you know? So, I mean, same with me going to CPC, like totally blew my mind.
Yeah, and we want to get to that, but first I want to go back to France because Sarah and I are trying to think of what your day is like. You're sitting at your office, maybe you're editing some promotional materials, and Steve Fambro says, "Well, who are we going to find to go to France?" You know, I mean, how does that come about? How did you get? Did you get it in an email? Did someone tap you on the shoulder? What was your initial
Yeah.
reaction?
Yeah, well, for a while, you know, we knew that there would be an Aptera part shown off at this show, with Energy and Kami Group at their booth. And for a while, it was like, okay, if they're going to show off one part or something like that, there's no need for Aptera people to go. But then, you know, basically a few days before, you know, we made the decision that we're all going and it's a big deal, was we got you caught wind that the whole BINC is basically going to be on display. Just really, really cool. That's a gift from, you know, the founders of CPC to Energy, like the tool makers. It's all very Italian culture, you know, like very, very friendship kind of thing. So they were just like, hey, here's all the pieces of it. Go ahead and make like the coolest display ever. So then we got wind of it, like, oh my God, the whole BINC's going to be there on display for the first time. We absolutely need to be there to represent Aptera and you know, tell them that's what this is for, right? So then yeah, you know, Chris Anthony came in and was like, hey, we need 2 people to go to Paris. We're like, done, we're going. And it was
Okay.
really impactful. I think it was really good that we went.
Besides the composite show that you saw in Paris, did you get to see any of the rest of Paris, or was it just too whirlwind? Did you have any time there? What'd you do?
Yeah, it was really really good. We had a few days, you know, sandwiched in there where we went to the Louvre, you know, saw the Mona
Nice.
Lisa, went to the Arc de Triomphe,
Oh,
went to
nice.
the Eiffel Tower. We didn't go up it, but just to see it. So we kind of did like a speed run of little touristy things. I really just love the atmosphere there. It's so weird. Everyone there, like, you know, if you go eat, like you go out to eat at a restaurant, they don't ever kick you out. So like you can go, like, people there past midnight all the time. It's just such a different culture. It's a very relaxed culture. So I never really experienced that. Pretty cool. And then I went to Disneyland Paris. You guys know me, I like
Nice,
theme
fun.
parks.
That's
Did you wear
fantastic.
like a beret and drink a lot of tea,
Did you
or
eat a baguette?
did you
And
use
did
the
you have
guillotine
cafe au
on
lait?
anything? Or I mean, what? Well, I'm trying to think of what you would do in France. You would go sit outside and eat. You would see
Yeah, I
those
did that.
places that you mentioned, and that's it, right? What else is there?
Yeah, yeah. We did a lot of the good stuff, I think, you know.
You
It
could go
was
on
a
any
neat ride.
catacombs and look at skulls of
Did you eat any snails?
people that died in the plague or anything, or
I didn't eat snails. I
no
actually
snails.
got back from France and we went to a restaurant, me and some friends, and like they're like, to celebrate you going to France and the fact that you didn't have snails, here are snails. So I had them back in
Did,
California, which is kind of ironic.
well, what did you eat that you wouldn't normally eat? Let's ask that
Anything?
in France.
Every night was just like I couldn't even believe it. The funny thing is my favorite meal there was this sausage, this like chicken sausage and mashed potatoes, but they were just the best thing I've ever eaten. I couldn't even describe, like, it was like a weird jello-y consistency,
It
The
doesn't
but everything
sound.
was
potatoes
like,
were?
That doesn't
yeah,
sound
they were
right,
like a
Chris.
blob, but they were amazing. Everything is just tastes fantastic over there. So I was impressed.
Do they have
Yeah.
French dressing like we have here in the South?
But do
What
they
about
call it house
French
dressing there?
fries or
Yeah.
pomfrets or
I did go to McDonald's. I thought I had to.
did
Just
you? Are you
compare.
serious?
Yeah.
I'm so proud of you right now,
Did they have
Chris.
anything different on their menu than American McDonald's do?
They got the Big Tasty, which is like a
Oh,
unique thing. And my Ukrainian friend really loves the Big Tasty, and he wanted me to bring it back with me in the luggage, but it was different. I honestly didn't like it too much. But
oh, okay. Let's
the
double
chicken
look at
nuggets were
mine.
like 10 times better than in the US, like the McDonald's chicken.
Oh,
So
Were they chicken cordon bleu nuggets?
all right. That's the last bad joke for one day.
I took just
Okay,
enough French to make a few Paris
bad
jokes.
jokes. Yeah.
I'm
Okay,
impressed. You probably don't know what you mean.
so when you leave Paris, you went to CPC in
Yep.
Italy.
Yeah.
Is that a drive or is that a flight?
We did a flight, then a drive. So we flew
Okay.
to Bologna, and then that's like an airport kind of an hour away from Modena.
Okay.
So then we drove with Akos, the VP of engineering, to CPC.
Oh,
really, really pretty. I didn't spend enough time in Italy, but it was really good to see CPC. So
And so what did you see in CPC that you could tell us about?
I think people still like, unless you physically see it, you don't realize how big of a company, like a big of an operation CPC is, how many clients they have. They're doing all kinds of stuff for people that you would have never thought, wasn't just the person who does it, So it's interesting for them because we're the most kind of public project they've ever had.
Oh,
So a lot of the
interesting.
times they do work behind the scenes, you never even know it was CPC. So it was
And
weird
it
for me to see behind the curtain and see, oh my gosh, CBC does all this stuff. I couldn't believe what they do.
is there anything that we would know of that is already CPC's work that we could relate to?
There's a lot, but I don't think I can tell you what it is.
Okay, I understand.
Not cool,
Maybe
Chris.
maybe at the end I can give you some ideas. But
Okay.
what's really neat is they don't just make parts and bond them together, but they have a whole supply chain in Italy that they help manage and are friends with that can do all the metal parts,
Mm.
interiors. They can really get the whole vehicle. It's called the Motor Valley for a reason. There's Ferrari and Lamborghini. They're all very local to that area. So you can get an idea. Of course, they do some work on those kind of vehicles, but they also do work for, some vehicles that you see in the US and who would have had no idea until we
Really?
went
Oh,
there.
interesting.
Interesting.
Very interesting. But yeah, they
Hmm.
they can not only just make the parts, right, but they can make a fully automated way to assemble the parts together with robots. Like the high volume side of it is something I'd never really seen before and was just blown away at how high volume they can, make this thing. So I think that's what Aptera is going to be, right? It's going to be an amazing high volume vehicle for them. So it's cool to see other examples of this high volume stuff that they are doing currently that they can do with Aptera.
I bet you're glad yeah, that you found that partnership and you're not assembling these carbon fiber pieces by yourselves there
Yeah,
by
there's no
hand
way.
or whatever with a
It
bunch of
would have
rubber
taken
clamps
years.
and glue, and
Yeah.
yeah.
So no, it was great. I got to see, the big 5 ton press or whatever it is, I don't remember if it's 5 ton or 5,000 ton. It's something ridiculous. Big press. I got to see them stamp apart. It wasn't one of our parts, but I got to see them stamp apart. And I got to just stand and look at our tools and like they're just huge. They're
Yeah.
ridiculous. Like, I saw the tub tool. I was like, how did they even make that? It's the biggest CFSMC part in the world. So
That's so
this tool
Wow.
is
impressive.
just ridiculous. Like
Wow.
it
Did you
blew
want
me
to
away.
stand in the press and pretend that you're, you know,
No, you
like
can
in
die.
like in Star Wars when they're in
No,
the
that's
trash
way too
compactor?
dangerous.
Yeah, you
No,
Yeah.
would you would definitely like
no.
turn into a goop by the end of it.
Safety first. Don't even
Yeah.
pretend. So my question about the partnership with CPC and like you were talking about the high volume, was it at one time the plan to tool the parts in San Diego or eventually to do that? Or is CPC, has that been a pivot to get to production faster? I'm just curious how that
Yeah.
all came about.
So it was originally the honeycomb composites that
Right.
you're
Right.
seeing on the alpha
Yeah.
and is under gamma, but no more honey core composites going forward, which is
Okay.
which is great. Um, so it was that, and then we had a bunch of conversations with different manufacturers of kind of carbon fiber, trying to figure out how to get this high volume. Akos referred us to CPC, and they were really the best person for the job by far. They have the capacity for it. They've done this for years and years and years. And they have aspirations to expand in the future as well. So
Wow.
it checked all the boxes for us. And I think CPC leaned in more than anyone would in any other part of the world. Like they
Oh,
just
wow.
believe in it so much. So you need, partners like that to
Yeah.
make something so cool like Aptera, right?
So you
Yes.
said they have their own ideas of expanding. That means CPC, we're thinking in the future we'll have a US plant, probably somewhere around Grand Rapids, Michigan, where Aptera's moving to. Oh, did
That's
I say that
right.
out loud? We're supposed to say.
That's
Well,
funny.
Spoiler
in
alert.
San Diego probably or whatever. That's the
Yeah, I think
idea
they
though,
have.
right?
Yeah, and I think that's great. Like, talking to the energy guys too, our tool makers, they're going to be at some shows coming up here soon that, maybe we'll help co-exhibit with them again. But kind of everyone in that part of the world wants to expand to the US market.
Oh,
So this is a great bridge product for that, for these
oh,
people.
nice.
Excellent.
Okay, well explained. That made it as clear as I've heard it, Chris. Thank you
Yeah,
for
thank
that.
you.
So
Sure.
then we heard in one of the updates that we kept hearing the words kicked off. Chris Anthony's like, we kicked off the battery. We kicked off some lighting. We kicked off some.
Yeah,
What does that mean? What's
we-
kicked off mean?
We'd
I
like to
heard your
take
video.
we'd like to take
We
this
meant it
moment
from our hearts. We don't get it. What is
for a
kicked off?
vocabulary lesson.
Yeah, help us. Help us, Chris.
It means that it does mean they've been given the green light to go. So usually that means we did a purchase order, we did a PO, and we
Okay.
gave them money and we said, here you go, do this.
Okay.
You
So
know,
why don't you just say
finish
we
this or
ordered
get
it?
us
Why don't you
these.
just say we ordered it and stop confusing us simple people?
Because it's not as exciting.
Yeah, I mean we can switch it to green light or
Thank
something
you. Okay,
if
green. Okay,
going
thank you.
forward.
Will you
But
just
it's
get that
more than
memo
just,
out?
yeah, it's usually more than just you know, they're going to begin producing it. Usually it's like that means they're able to do the full validation for it and give
Oh,
us the units we need. So, or like
Oh, good.
ensure the design meets our requirements. So there's all these things that like happen in that process. It's not just like
So
make
it's
this
a,
thing.
I
It's like
gotcha.
sometimes, you know, make it as manufacturable as you can. And it's part of our, you know, our contracts with them to do that.
So in theory, then these parts are going to start kind of piling up and be on the shelves there in Carlsbad, right? Waiting for the rolling binks and then bolting them in place.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah,
we're
there's going to
talking
be a
about.
lot of parts coming soon. I think there's going to be like a month where parts aren't coming because they're all been kicked off and or
There we go
greenlit
again.
for them. And then suddenly things are just going to start flying in. So it's going to be a really fun summer for sure.
Oh, that's
Exciting.
awesome. Okay, I have another question that we want to talk just for a minute about the future, but we keep hearing, PI1, PI2, PI3. Somewhere in time, I think you made a video, Chris or Steve, somebody where they kind of explained it.
Yeah.
So maybe somebody from Aptera commented in our video about the PI. You did. Thank you.
Thank
you
you.
for that. So the PI1 is a rolling chassis for testing, but not for driving around.
PI1
Like
is
for
kind of a static display for battery routing or for wire routing and cable
Okay.
routing connectors and fixtures. So it won't have wheels or anything like that. Yeah, and then PI2 I think will start ugly and then become beautiful over the summer.
Okay.
as
So
the kicked off parts start coming in.
Oh boy.
yeah, it's
Okay.
gonna be PI2's gonna be kicked off soon to be ugly than pretty. But think of PI2 as like a work in progress. So it'll start off it looks like kind of like a beta, but it will be driving pretty soon
Okay.
after we get it ready, and then it's like, oh, here's the production seat. There it goes. Here's the production lighting. There it
Okay.
goes. So everything's gonna click into place. Here's the panels, right? So
Okay.
we'll be doing all those things to PI2 to make it pretty over time is what I've heard is the plan.
Okay.
So
That helps.
at first it'll be a pumpkin, but by the end it will be a beautiful princess carriage.
Exactly. But I think it's pretty the
Excellent.
whole way. It'll be fun. It'll be really
Well,
fun.
I like pumpkins in their natural state too.
Yeah. So we'll always have, PI1, which it's kind of funny because it is, it's kind of a vehicle, but it doesn't move. So, but it is PI1. So it's just different terminology we got to get around, but it is the first production intent piece, right? That then molds into rolling vehicles that actually drive.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Good. Thanks for clearing that up.
So
too, Chris.
with regard to that and the whole process that's been happening, how much change do you expect to see based on your validation and testing with PI1 and PI2? Do you think it'll be minor adjustments, or are you ready and prepared if there's some major adjustments that need to be made to quickly make those
Good
adjustments?
question.
I mean, I think Aptera is ready if anything crazy comes up, but there's nothing expected to come up. It's all very minor. It's like we're talking about, screw tolerances or like the how much the wires can bend to be reliable over time. So like that's why we wanted to do PI1 to just, ensure all the wires have the correct lengths and we're not too long, too short. There's all these little tiny things that make a big deal, but I think in the long run there's nothing major. PI2 when it's pretty will probably be almost exactly what we deliver.
Oh, good. Hey, that's
Neat.
great. So
Exciting.
in the last update, uh, Chris. Chris did the last one or Steve?
Anthony, yeah, Chris Anthony did the
Chris,
last.
the other Chris.
I filmed it.
Yeah. Oh, you did. Okay,
Good
good
job.
job. Well, then you'll know this. He mentioned going to overseas to show it off at a drift.
DriftX in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah. Do you know anything about what that show is and what Aptera might be doing there or displaying there?
Yeah, it's a first of its kind show, so they've never done one before. This is the
Oh,
inaugural DriftX, but a lot of, companies from all around the world are going to be exhibiting there, and it's all kind of about autonomy in many ways. So a lot of it's about like autonomous vehicles,
mhm.
but for Aptera, it's like about, autonomy from the grid, from gasoline. So we kind of have a unique trough carved out for what Aptera means at that show. So I think it'll kind of blow people's minds because it's mostly a show about, technologies, or sometimes there's ones about air autonomy or boats, or it's kind of the whole transportation industry. But I think we'll be probably the only one there showing off, like a solar powered vehicle. And I think Abu Dhabi people will just, fall in love with it. So that's why we're going to it. There's a lot of secret meetings I can't talk about that we're planning to have there as well. So it's a kill two birds with one stone, or
Okay.
nicer way to say that kind of
Yeah.
event for us.
Feed two birds with one seed.
Well, since
I like
since
that. That's better.
since I don't know what you're talking about, I could speculate any way I want, and then you can just nod your head accidentally
No,
or sneeze.
Yeah.
you're gonna get us kicked off, and I don't mean
Yeah.
Greenland.
But yeah, Gamma's going. So
Oh,
so we'll
good.
miss
Oh,
Gamma
that's
for a while.
good. I heard someone ask
I
that.
was that was one of my questions because it looked like there was like some road track, and I wondered if Gamma might be able
Oh,
to
I
get
hope
out
so.
there and get.
Oh, I
I
hope
hope
so.
so. It's an F1 track. I
Ribbon.
really hope so. That's
I
something we're
feel
hoping
like
for.
complete speculation that obviously you want to show the technology to the world and to a future base that will be buying it, because Aptera will be global. But also, I think you're probably going to meet with some investors.
It's a very good place, right?
Yeah. Okay. So that's what we're thinking.
Potential investors. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't know anything, but that'd be exciting. So we look forward to seeing what you bring back for footage from that. That'll be great.
Yeah.
If
Are
you
you
get to
are
go.
you going?
I think I'm going. I think I am.
You're kidding? That's awesome.
Excellent.
That
I'm
is so
going.
awesome.
We'll probably have some local influencers check it out too in Abu
Good.
Dhabi. Spread the word.
Good, I
So
hope
we'll be on a
so.
whole plan. You'll
Oh, I
see.
love it.
Excellent.
Okay. Cannot wait, Chris. That's awesome.
Yes.
It'll be
So-
hot.
Yeah, it's
Very
gonna
hot.
be hot. That's true.
Yeah.
We did see something show up on your LinkedIn the other day. That was a
Mm-hmm.
picture of something that looked like it came in a big crate
Yep.
to your factory. Can you talk about that?
Yeah.
What
Yeah, it's
showed
the
up?
first
What is it?
it's the first BINC, right? So it's the
What?
BINC PI1 is now here, which is
You're
awesome.
kidding.
Hey!
Can we
Um,
see it?
that's
Is it
awesome.
possible to see it, or is it against the rules for you to take your camera in?
No, we can see it.
Are you serious?
Sure.
Yeah, you're so
Put on
awesome.
my glasses. But yeah, the first BINC, really exciting for us. Because this is the first time a lot of people in our San Diego office have seen it, right? So
Yeah.
Right.
really cool.
It was great
Cool.
for us to see the post, and I thought that I can't believe it. It's here, but I didn't know if it was
Yeah.
officially PI1 or what it was exactly. But
Yeah, PI1.
yeah,
All
man.
right. We're walking down the hallway
Okay, I'll be quiet.
behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Um,
I've been in that hallway, I think, if I'm not
yeah,
mistaken.
oh, you have.
Oh yeah, yep. We've been up them stairs.
Yes, we have.
Yeah.
Can we call the PI1 build Magnum? Because then it's like Magnum PI.
Oh, can we? We can. We can do whatever we want to do.
Oh, right. I
We're not
forgot.
paid.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Jenna.
Sure, I don't care. Call it whatever you want.
Magnum PI. I love that.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
Okay,
This
I
is
think I
great.
can like link my phone to this, and that would be the best way to do it.
What's in that refrigerator
Let's
up
try
there?
it.
That's what I want to know.
Celsius. You know what's in there.
Okay, something happened. Oh, look
Probably
at this. Oh, wow. Hey,
Okay.
Chris. Hey, we'll shut up a minute and you can
Here it
walk
is.
us around. Wow.
Yeah, so this is the first BINC, and what's really cool, and I wasn't expecting, is when we saw it in Italy, they didn't have the doors, but then they sent us the doors, so it was literally the full BINC. So over here,
Wow.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
the hood, and you got the two doors,
Oh, that's
and they're fully bonded
fantastic.
together, and the hatch. So
Oh. Oh,
it's got all of
Chris,
it.
this is so cool.
Cool,
is
right?
so
It just
cool.
feels so real, you know?
Yeah,
Ooh,
I can
that
go
gives
in
me
it.
chills.
Let
Wow.
me disconnect here and switch to my,
Okay.
switch to this one. Hang on.
Now we got,
Please
yeah,
stand
okay.
by.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
this is
Should have done the interview here.
Why didn't we think
oh,
of that?
well, it might not be super comfortable to stand for too long, as
Yeah.
is.
Oh, it's pretty neat. We did
Wow.
some, yeah, this is it. I'm just chilling in it, you know?
Oh,
That is awesome, Chris.
I
be
know.
honest, did you sleep in it the first night?
No, I didn't, but Chris Anthony stood on it when I came in.
Did he?
Yeah. He just
The
jumped up
other.
on it. I was like, oh my gosh.
What are you doing?
Well, it
We've only got
demonstrates
one.
some strength. A person can stand on top of it.
Can
We
you
know that
Yeah.
much now.
Can you show us some stuff that we
Initial
can't?
testing done.
Can you show us some stuff that we just don't totally grasp, like how the wire routing is already baked into the plans and all that, or without,
I
I don't
mean,
want
yeah,
to take your whole day. I'm just curious what you can
yeah.
show us.
Let me reconnect my phone. I think that's the best way to do it. I'm glad. Well, never mind. I'll just use my laptop. So see these like
Okay.
cable troughs down here?
Yeah.
So this
Yeah.
is where all the low voltage cables can be routed, which is really nice. So see,
Oh,
they have
sweet.
little holes, so that's where they go in and out.
Oh man,
Um,
that's so cool.
what's really cool is like everything has a exact place to go. So like we put in our kind of AC, heater, like our cabin air device, right? And it
Yeah.
literally like it just fits perfectly. So here's where
Oh,
you get the cabin air filter comes in. It literally mounts right up to it. And then
oh,
these are
nice.
like exactly where it mounts. And there's like already places right for it. It just clipped right into place. We have one. So we just
Wow.
put it right in there. Like that's kind of how everything's gonna be. So it
That is
blows my mind.
genius.
It really does.
That's
That is so
fascinating.
genius, Chris.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so when I see that, like when I think about vehicles that I've seen that might have an electrical short, an issue, and
Yep.
there's just this nest of wires and you have no idea what goes where,
Hmm.
which if I had the right to repair that, I would be terrified to even start. But it looks like this is going to be
Nice.
much more streamlined and organized if I'm seeing that right.
Right. And then you have our really nice architecture, which is there's three wires that go to point of use controllers, right? So whereas usually there's this massive cable bundle, it'll be
Right.
three wires going to different small circuit boards around the vehicle. Just makes it a lot easier. But of course, there's still going to be little things here and there that need to be routed. So
Man, that is so cool.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, cool.
That's
it's
Thank you
awesome.
for
exciting.
showing us that. We can't
Of course.
appreciate that.
Yeah, any other things you want to show us on there? Any brags you can share?
Yeah. Just take your
Oh, it's
camera and just go all the way around the
just
whole factory.
cool. I mean, it's just cool. Like this is where the subwoofer cutout is,
Oh,
right?
yeah, cool.
Goes right in.
So
And
awesome.
then this is
Yeah.
where like the air um
Like
basically
a,
when you slam a door in a car, like it needs to have kind of like a valve that the air can flow out of. So
yeah.
that's like where they go right here. So we'll probably be putting those in here, even though we don't need to for this one, just to fill it out. But
Oh
it's
man, so
pretty neat.
cool.
That is so
I
cool.
I still can't believe Chris stood on it. But I
Yeah.
blew.
No, are you gonna stand on it now? Just set the camera up over in the corner and
Oh
he's
my God.
heavier than you are. You're not gonna break it.
No, you're right about that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, that's the perfect angle. You're seeing it here on Drive the Lightning First. Chris McCanna standing on the roof of the only existing body in car. Couple jumps, couple.
yeah,
Oh,
strong, right?
there you
Yeah,
go.
that's awesome.
Sorry, that was a bad
Validation
view of it.
testing
No,
check. All
that's
done.
good. Oh, so
Validated.
cool. So cool. Hey,
Cool.
thank you for that.
Yeah,
No
thank you
problem.
so much.
thank
What a
you.
cool tour.
Yeah, thank you for spending the time with us. We certainly appreciate it. What's the next thing that our audience should be watching for? The next exciting thing.
Oh man, I'm excited for when we green light the frame and the suspension components because that means PI2 is really going to start getting underway. So
Yeah.
stay tuned for that announcement.
Okay, good.
Finalize the track testing in Italy. So
Okay, very good.
Nice.
We look forward to it.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah. So if Chad and I wanted to come out and visit to see something exciting, is there
Yeah.
any area of our
PI2.
calendars that we should kind of keep clear?
She's always trying to. She's
Probably
always
sometime
digging
this
for
summer. It
information.
depends how pretty you want PI2 to be.
Oh, We
So,
want to be the kind of pretty that puts us first. What kind of pretty is that? Like when it gets off the truck.
you get it ugly
Like we
then.
want to help lift
Okay,
it,
ugliness.
unload it,
Yeah, we want to
unpack
carry
it.
it from the truck, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, you'll keep us
I'll let you
in
know when it's driving around.
Yeah, I know you will. We appreciate you.
Sounds good.
Welcome back from Paris. Have a safe trip to Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
Life's crazy.
Thank you to the members of our channel. You keep the wheels turning on the Positively Charged EV channel. It's because of you that we get to do interviews like this. We can't thank you enough. And the Mug Club members. You've bought enough mugs across the country and the Canada and other places that our trip to Aptera is no longer a maybe, but it is solidly a probably. And it's because of you that it's in that category. Hey, why not watch this video next? And have a great day, everybody. Thanks for being here on Drive the Lightning.